And these exchanges mark a clear commitment to build ties among our people as surely as you will help determine the destiny of the 21st century. And I am absolutely confident that America has no better ambassadors to offer than our young people, for they, just like you, are filled with talent and energy and optimism about the history that is yet to be written. So let this be the next step in the steady pursuit of cooperation that will serve our nations and the world. And if there is one thing that we can take from today's dialogue, I hope that it is a commitment to continue this dialogue going forward. So thank you very much, and I look forward now to taking some questions for all of you. Thank you very much. So I just want to make sure this works. This is a tradition, by the way, that is very common in the United States of these town hall meetings. And what we're going to do is I will just, if you are interested in asking a question, you can raise your hands. I will call on you. And then I will alternate between a question from the audience and an internet question from one of the students who prepared the questions, as well as I think Ambassador Huntsman may have a question that we were able to obtain from the website of our embassy. So let me begin, though, by seeing, and what I'll do is I'll call on a boy and then a girl, and then so we'll go back and forth so that you know it's fair. All right? So I'll start with this young lady right in the front. Here, why don't we wait for this microphone so everyone can hear you? And what's your name?
My name is Chen Xi, and I'm a student from Fudan University. Shanghai and Chicago have been the sister cities since 1985, and these two cities have conducted a wide range of economic, political, and cultural exchanges. So what measures will you take to deepen this close relationship between cities of the United States and China? And Shanghai will hold the World Exposition next year. Will you bring your family to visit the expo? Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for the question. I was just having lunch before I came here with the mayor of Shanghai, and he told me that he has had an excellent relationship with the city of Chicago, my hometown, that he's visited there twice, and I think it's wonderful to have these exchanges between cities. One of the things that I discussed with the mayor is how both cities can learn from each other on strategies around clean energy, because one of the issues that ties China and America together is how, with an expanding population and a concern for climate change, that we are able to reduce our carbon footprint. And obviously, in the United States and many developed countries, per capita, per individual, they are already using much more energy than each individual here in China. But as China grows and expands, it's going to be using more energy as well. So both countries have a great interest in finding new strategies. We talked about mass transit and the excellent rail lines that are being developed in Shanghai. I think we can learn in Chicago some of the, and in the United States, some of the fine work that's being done on high-speed rail. In the United States, I think we are learning how to develop buildings that use much less energy, that are much more energy efficient. And I know that with Shanghai, as I traveled and I saw all the cranes and all the new buildings that are going up, it's very important for us to start incorporating these new technologies so that each building is energy efficient when it comes to lighting, when it comes to heating. And so it's a terrific opportunity, I think, for us to learn from each other. I know this is going to be a major focus of the Shanghai World Expo, is the issue of clean energy, as I learned from the mayor. And so I would love to attend. I'm not sure yet what my schedule is going to be, but I'm very pleased that we're going to have an excellent U.S. pavilion at the Expo, and I understand that we expect as many as 70 million visitors here, so it's going to be very crowded and it's going to be very exciting. Chicago has had 2 World Expos in its history, and both of those expos ended up being tremendous boosts for the city. So I'm sure the same thing will happen here in Shanghai. Thank you. Well, why don't we get one of the questions from the internet? And introduce yourself in case you're.
Hello. Oh, that's amazing. So shall I say it in Chinese first, then repeat it in English again?
Yes.
Okay. 亲爱的总统先生。
I'm Qian Wentao from Shanghai Jiaotong University. I want to pose a question from the internet. I want to thank you, Mr. President, for visiting China in your first year in office and exchange views with us in China. I want to know what are you bringing to China in your visit to China this time, and what will you bring back to the United States?
And I'm be honorable to be here to represent one of the friends from internet to ask one question. Firstly, thanks for visiting China at the first year of your presidency. And my question is, what have you in this Chinese trip? What have you brought to China, and what do you want from China? Thank you.
Okay. Well, the main purpose of my trip is to deepen my understanding of China and its vision for the future. I have had several meetings now with President Hu. We participate together in the G20 summit that was dealing with the economic financial crisis. We have had consultations about a wide range of issues. But I think it's very important for the United States to continually deepen its understanding of China, just as it's important for China to continually deepen its understanding of the United States. In terms of what I'd like to get out of this meeting or this visit, in addition to having the wonderful opportunity to see the Forbidden City and the Great Wall, and to meet with all of you, these are all highlights. Oh. These are all highlights, but in addition to that, the discussions that I intend to have with President Hu speak to the point that Ambassador Huntsman made earlier, which is there are very few global challenges that can be solved unless the United States and China agree. So let me give you a specific example, and that is the issue we were just discussing of climate change. The United States and China are the world's two largest emitters of greenhouse gases, of carbon that is causing the planet to warm. Now, the United States, as a highly developed country, as I said before, per capita consumes much more energy and emits much more greenhouse gases for each individual than does China. On the other hand, China is growing at a much faster pace, and it has a much larger population. So unless both of our countries are willing to take critical steps in dealing with this issue, we will not be able to resolve it. There's going to be a Copenhagen conference in December in which world leaders are trying to find a recipe so that we can all make commitments that are differentiated, so each country would not have the same obligations. Obviously, China, which has much more poverty, should not have to do exactly the same thing as the United States, but all of us should have these certain obligations in terms of what our plan will be to reduce these greenhouse gases. So that's an example of what I hope to get out of this meeting, a meeting of the minds between myself and President Hu about how together the United States and China can show leadership. Because I will tell you, other countries around the world will be waiting for us. They will watch to see what we do. And if they say, you know, the United States and China, they're not serious about this, then they won't be serious either. That is the burden of leadership that both of our countries now carry. And my hope is that the more discussion and dialogue that we have, the more we are able to show this leadership to the world on these many critical issues. Okay? All right. I think it must be a boy's turn now, right? So I'll call on this young man right here.
总统先生您好，我是来自
Let me get my
Mr. President,